Hey, Facebook family. How are you doing? Baby, it's cold outside. It is cold outside today. Plenty of snow. Do you like that beach ball? Try, Trying to pretend that it's going to be summer again sometime soon. We'll just wait for people to hop on this lovely snowy morning. And I'm going to be talking about the first law of prosperity this morning. And I want to try and get this in before 10 a.m. because I got a call to hop on at 10. Good morning, Facebook fam. I'm talking about the first law of prosperity today. I'm just going to wait for people to cozy up in here. And then we'll get started. We'll just get started. How about we just get started? So listen, what is the first law of prosperity? I don't know. Is there an order to these things? I don't know if they're like in order 1 through 10, but one of the first laws of prosperity that are really important to manifesting your big vision is prosperous thinking. So that's really, really huge. Your thoughts are creating your reality. 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 So prosperous thinking is hugely, hugely, hugely important to being able to manifest a big vision. So that's why you need to be really conscious of what you're thinking about. What you're thinking about is creating your reality. So the first law of prosperity, prosperous thinking. If you just focus on that one thing, you're going to start seeing results. You're going to at least start seeing the contrast of, what would a prosperous person be thinking about versus what I'm thinking about? So prosperous thinking, that's the first law of prosperity that we're talking about this morning. Notice your thoughts. Notice what you're thinking about all day long. Notice conflicts that you're having in your thoughts about prosperity, about wealth. And that's what you want to focus on. So why is that? Why is prosperous thinking so important? And how does being controlling be in conflict with that prosperous thinking? So being in controlling means a part of you feels out of control, right? So people who are controlling, hi, me, hey Anna, people who are controlling, raise your hand if that's you, or have a default or a tendency to be controlling, are people who have learned that they need to manage their environment to be safe, that they need to manage the things externally to be safe. And that may have absolutely been your experience growing up. That may have been your experience in your life. Hi, Anna. Is it freezing in Florida too? I saw you wearing a little fur type of jammy the other day and it looked like it was darned cold. Hi, Fabiola. You're in Florida too. Is it cold also? It's not this cold. It's not snow cold. But I wonder if it's cold. Talking about the first law of prosperity, who knows if it's first? Maybe it's number 25. I don't know if these things are in order, but the law of prosperous thinking and how being controlling gets into the way of that. And I was saying to you guys that if you're someone who is controlling, yes, it's cold for you. You guys have thin blood or whatever. Floridians have thin blood. 50 degrees. Ouch. I don't know what that means. It sounds cold, but I'm Canadian, so we work in Celsius. I have no idea. Freezing. Okay, got you. But if you're someone who is controlling, then raise your hand. That's me over here. Or has a default, a tendency to want to control. It usually means you grew up in a way where it was important for you to control your environment to feel safe. And that was a way in which you coped or survived. And the problem with that, as you mature and you get into your life and you're trying to manifest things and you're trying to manifest more money, or you're trying to manifest whatever you're trying to manifest, whatever your desire is that the controlling starts to be projected, right? So when you're feeling out of control, you start projecting by controlling others. That's how you manage that feeling of being out of control. It might not be something you're conscious of or aware of, but that's a way in which we cope with that feeling of being out of control or overwhelmed with our emotions or not in touch with our emotions. We start to control the environment and the outside. And the problem with this is that it sends the message to the universe that you're not in trust, that you can't trust the universe, that you can't trust that you will be taken care of, that you can't trust that you'll be safe, that you have to be managing all the pieces. So that's the problem with the control piece. And we control through many different things. We can try and control people. We try and control our food. We try and control like our spending. We can try and control through our kids. There's so many different ways in which control can manifest. And it's always indicative of some kind of feeling of being out of control yourself. So that's really important piece to the law of prosperity that I'm talking about today, which is the law of prosperous thinking. So what you're thinking is creating your reality. And if what you're thinking is, I have to control the pieces, or I have to, be the one in control, because if I'm not, no one else will, then the message that you're sending is that you have to hold everything together, that you're the glue, that if you don't do this, it's all going to fall apart. And that is not a vote of confidence for the universe, and not a level of trust where you can manifest really, really big. So that's the kind of thing you want to let go of. I'm just checking my time here, guys, because I'm jumping on a call in 10 minutes. So if you have any questions about prosperous thinking or about control stuff, which is the projection of not feeling grounded in you, not feeling in control of your emotions, and that's how it manifests, then pop your questions in, throw up some likes and some hearts. Hey, Ina. We're talking about the law of prosperous thinking. Thank you, Fabi. Mwah, love you. We're talking about the law of prosperous thinking today, and how control plays into that, or actually how control can sabotage your ability to manifest and to keep your prosperous thinking. Hey, Jenna, how to keep prosperous thinking afloat, is that's in conflict with control. So the law we're talking about is the law of prosperous thinking, and how diligent are you being with that? Fabi, I'm a total control freak, totally working on letting go more and trusting more. Oh, you got blasted in Michigan too, Jenna. Yes, so much snow. The kids are loving it. Me, not so much. So yes, working on letting go more and trusting more. Absolutely. And it's a process, right? So how do we do that? How do we let go more? How do we trust more so that we can get into releasing that control? We go to the root. Why did you need to be in control? What makes you feel safe about that? What would happen if you would release control, and kind of go to your worst case scenario and see, why do you believe that? This is about looking at those deep held beliefs about the planet, about you on the planet, about if the universe has your back, because maybe as a child, you didn't feel like anything did have your back, and you did have to control the outcome and what people thought. I know myself as an immigrant, a lot was up to me as a kid. My mom would give me the phone, talk to these people, because her English wasn't so amazing. So I had to be in charge of a lot of things that I didn't really want to be. And then it became like a way to control how people thought about me, how people thought about my family, how people thought about our status in life. All those things, were at the root for me around control. Because things didn't feel in control, because they probably weren't, Hola, Flor. So, the thing about releasing control is finding out at the root what was sitting at the root of needing to control. Because needing to control is in conflict with that prosperous thinking. You want to be thinking about, and that's the first law of prosperity that we're talking about today, is prosperous thinking, and how that can be in conflict with being a person who is in control and loves to be in control, and how that makes you feel safe. Well, then the universe is like, okay, I guess you don't need me. You got it, right? You got this. That's what you're saying with those like controlling thoughts, is I got this, universe. I got this, I got this, I got this. And so you're taking on all the weight. Hey, Geo. You're taking on all the weight of the world, and that's in conflict with being able to receive. Okay, so what we're talking about today is the law of prosperous thinking, and how that gets into conflict with if you're a controlling person. If you're a control freak, like me, recovering control freak, you want to get to the root of that, because it's going to interfere with your prosperous thinking, which is first law of prosperity we're talking about. Prosperous thinking, that is in conflict with being controlling, right? Being controlling is saying things aren't going to turn out the way I want, because things never turned out the way I wanted. I never got to have things the way I wanted. I never got to have that Christmas present I really wanted as a kid. So as adults, and that seems like silly, but as kids, we have no filters. So that means something about the world to me when I'm 5 years old. And the thing that I asked for, I couldn't get, or I couldn't even ask for, if you weren't even allowed to ask for those things, of course,